What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Totally Inspired with me, your girl Sibo Dube. If you're new to this channel, please make sure that you subscribe, that you follow some of the videos that I've shared previously, because there are so many interesting topics that we cover on this channel. Well, from today's topic, I'm sure you can see that we will be talking about one of the most difficult topics for a lot of families. And I'm talking about people that are in blended families. But before we get into today's topic, I have to say a few thank yous. Firstly, I would like to thank everybody that's been watching the videos on this channel, been following, and I do get the feedback. And so please, I would like to encourage that if you've been watching and have not yet subscribed, please make sure that you do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that each time I upload something, you don't miss out. My second thank you goes to the women that contributed to today's topic. When I was engaging with each one of them, I realized that, people experience different things. And but all in all, I observed a lot of similarities. So if you're a woman who is mothering a blended family, my encouragement to you is that you're not alone. The challenges that you're facing, and you might think that this is probably unique to me, questioning yourself or even questioning your parenting skills, let me tell you, you are not alone. What we do know for a fact is that women, mothers, parents in blended families are doing their best. So let me give a huge shout out to the ladies who opened up to me, shared their personal stories, and they're doing this so that anyone who could be in a similar situation can learn from their personal stories. Big up to you, big shout out to you. You are going to be helping someone today. Anyway, let us go right ahead. Maybe you are someone that has never come across this term. What is a blended family, you might be asking? A blended family is when two adults come together to form one family after coming from a previous relationship or coming in with other children. And together, you actually form a family where you are combining two families because the parents have decided that they will get married. Blended families happen as a result of different things. It could be an issue of divorce, it could be an issue of death, or an issue of relationships that didn't work out previously. But what normally happens in blended families is that children tend to come into those marriages. In some cases, one of the partners could potentially not even have a child. Maybe it could be the one person that comes in with children. But in most instances, when you use the word blended, it's when I come in with my child and you bring your child in together, we decide that we are going to be a family. So today we'll be focusing on some of the struggles that blended families come across because you're bringing in two different families and you blend them. I'm going to read a message. Actually, they chose to write their messages down and send them to me, and I'm going to read them exactly as I have received them. So let me call her woman number one. My sister, a big shout out to you. When I read this message, you will know that it's you. Thank you so much. So let's go. Lady number one. So here is what lady number one says to me here. There are so many struggles in a blended family. The biggest is communication or lack of it, she says. For example, when one decides to marry, the kids need to be sat down and explained to why you have arrived at that decision. Most kids will be on board if they feel respected and treated like they matter. The other challenge is the other set of parents when they make everything a competition, where it is us versus them. Kids pick up on that and can be manipulative. The focus should be on the betterment of the child. Some miss this and make it about them. There is so much more, but all I can say is not an easy journey. It definitely not for the faint-hearted. I hope this helps. Indeed, it does help. So, lady one is talking about communication and the need to involve kids and also the issue of competition. This is what I'm picking up. She's saying that when you are going to blend your family, make sure you communicate with the kids, make sure that you involve them so that they feel respected. And also, she touches on resource sharing. Don't make this a competition, but always make sure that it's about the kids and also making sure that we are running functional families. And of course, the other point that I quite like there is that this is not for the faint-hearted. If you're not in a blended family, you probably will not understand it, and we need to respect that because people in blended families know that better. Let's hear from lady number 2. In my experience, blended family struggles or cares more when, number 1, the disadvantage of children who come and visit. You constantly are dealing with a different behavior every time a child visits. So I spoke to this lady. She explained to me that in her situation, her husband's children are not staying with them, but they are staying with the mom. So she's saying when they do come to visit, somehow she's not able to keep up with the personality that she has to deal with every time. When the child comes, they are a different person, or maybe they are going through different things. And I'm sure as children grow, especially when they become teenagers, there is that change that you can expect. So that's her point number 1. Number 2, she says difficulty in reprimanding external kids. So a lot of the ladies, as we go along, you'll realize that they talk about the issue of discipline. So she says it is difficult to reprimand them when they do wrong. And number 3, she says transparency in marriage is always compromised. So engaging with her further, she explained that, take issues of policies and benefits. They are not a comfortable subject to discuss. Maybe the husband or the wife has taken policies for the other children, but can't disclose or divulge how much it is and how it's going to work. So she says sometimes transparency can be a challenge in a blended family because the other spouse might feel that maybe the parent is actually spending a lot of money on other kids that are outside of the marriage and might not even be able to disclose or divulge how much she's spending or he's spending on the other kids. Some spouses may actually not be that transparent with how much they're spending on how much they're investing in the other children. And then the last point she makes is that visits during holidays can also be frustrating, especially when you also have plans to take your kids to visit their maternal grandparents. Plans have to change and you become a nanny while other parents enjoy their holidays. So on further engaging her, she explained to me that sometimes she finds that she can't take her biological child, the one that she brought into the marriage, she cannot take that child to her side of the family, especially when it's Christmas holidays or big holidays like that, because it's always nice to have everybody together, but it's a very weird atmosphere. You're trying to make children love one another, you're trying to make children blend, and sometimes it's not as easy as that. And when they do come for the Christmas holidays, she has to cancel her own plans because she has to accommodate kids coming in from the previous marriage because they need to spend time with their other parent. And sometimes when they go and visit parents of her spouse, now her own child tends not to blend in well, and she's had a conversation with her biological child and spoken to him and told him that this is your family, try and blend in, but he is struggling. He can't even blend with the other kids. So that's the struggle for lady number 2. Let's go straight to lady number 3 and hear what her story is. Okay, lady number 3, I love the way she has navigated the complexities of this blended family. So let's listen to lady number 3's story. In my personal experience, my biggest struggle has been reaching common ground with the ex. Also having the patience and courtesy of dealing with the ex's side of the family and their demands and expectations, all while trying to make my home mine. And always having to prove myself constantly. The constant criticism and judgment and trying to please all parties for the sake of peace and for the children, of course, is another major hurdle. I was in my late 20s when I met my husband. His eldest son was about 18 from a previous relationship. And to be honest, he is such a wonderful young man. His mom, who has remarried, also made it very easy for me, as she communicated well and we were on common understanding that the needs of our son should outweigh any other disagreements or differences of opinion. I appreciate the love and the support she has shown and given me, and we have truly become very good sisters. Our son does make it all worthwhile, and such a pleasure as he has accepted and welcomed me and loved me. That has made such a huge difference. His maturity has been amazing. Lady number 3 goes on to say, my husband also has 4 other children from another relationship before mine. They were much younger, ranging from 6 years old to 2 years old, and this is where I faced more challenges. Their mom was away a lot, and so the children's day-to-day needs fell on me, which I gladly accepted. Being young and very green, I took on the title of second mother, as I preferred to be called than stepmom, which has so many negative connotations, with my own understanding and expectations that we would all naturally get along and for the sake of the kids make it work. Of course, this was not so. No matter how well I took care of the children and the numerous sacrifices I made, it was always met with criticism, harshness, and many other outright cruelty. Let me stop right there. Criticism, cruelty on a woman that is doing her best to take care of a family, her children, and the children of another woman. People don't understand the sacrifice that goes behind the scenes. For them, it's always about criticism, all the bad mouthing, and looking for all the mistakes. They never, and sometimes they don't even know about all the sacrifices that go behind the scenes, because there are a lot of things that moms in blended families will encounter: disrespect, lack of appreciation, and being wrongfully judged. In most instances, people choose to see what they choose to see. People believe what they choose to believe. And yet they will never appreciate the sacrifices that these moms make. And unfortunately, these moms cannot go around and say, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, because it doesn't matter. But spectators are the ones who are always ready to pounce and make you the fodder of their conversations. As lady number 3 has mentioned, the cruelty, that's the word that she uses, that she has met as a mom trying to make things work in her home. There is no woman who doesn't want a cordial environment in her home. Let me say, there is no family, there are no parents who do not want a cordial environment in their home. People will go all out to make sure that there's love in their family, that there's understanding. Firstly, that is why we've chosen to be together. That what has brought people together is love. And spectators and third parties need to understand that blended families become because of the foundation of love. But humans in their nature will always come in, look for the faults, and never appreciate the good. And most of the time, the faults, if you really check them, are often very much baseless. But let's go on and listen to Lady 3's story. Let me not steal her thunder. One thing I have always told the children is that I would never replace their mothers, but rather they are blessed to have 2 mothers, and if their mothers made certain decisions pertaining them, that I would have to go along with it unless their father interjected. When I did have challenges, it was from the influence of their mother feeding them with negative stories and many times extremely incorrect ideas and information which they would tell me about. Let me stop right there. The one thing I like about kids or children is that when as an adult you feed them with negative information about their day-to-day carer, they'll always come back and tell you. Whether intentionally or not, things have a way of coming back. So third parties who like to involve themselves in blended families, sometimes you need to ask yourself, would I repeat this if this person was standing right here? And I'm saying this because a lot of the times it's the moms who are taking care of the other kids who actually suffer this cruelty, who actually suffer this bad mouthing. And it was so interesting talking to the ladies, how much pain other people cause knowingly or unknowingly, through careless statements, through bad actions, and through bad decisions and interventions. Anyway, let's continue with Lady 3's story. I always had to be the bigger person and keep my peace and my cool. It's always the case. I mean, it's better, to do that. But sometimes one also needs to stand up for themselves and put things in line. I later on was blessed with my own children, and for me the focus has been more on maintaining a healthy sibling relationship with them all, blending them well and keeping a balance in making sure no one feels left out or neglected. It's very challenging as sometimes things are misconstrued or taken out of context, so I try to encourage everyone to speak up when they feel something offends them so that issues are dealt with and no resentments are building up. So that's lady number 3 sharing about her struggles as a mom in a blended family. Now let's go to lady number 4. Shout out to you, lady number 4. You know yourself as I'm reading this. Number 1, disciplinary issue. The struggle for me was that stepchildren don't take it kindly to be disciplined by a step-parent or a non-biological parent. They actually prefer being disciplined by their biological parent. Thus, it's important that as parents within a blended family, we put up a united front where the disciplinary issues are concerned so that you curb being manipulated and emotionally divided by children. My daughter was very sneaky and sly. She had split personalities by choice. When we are with the biological parent, she's Miss Goody Goody. And when I'm with her as stepmom, then the true rude character surfaces. So unfortunately, because I don't take kindly to silly, rude, disrespectful children, we fought a lot. I'm a disciplinarian of note. She put a laughing emoji there. So she actually had a hard time. Secondly, family interference. So she further explains family from the other party who is now late. My husband's previous in-laws really gave us a hard time by wrongly or badly influencing the children. And then they would meet them without us knowing. Then after all this, you see children's attitude changing towards you. The good thing is that my husband didn't take sides and didn't entertain nonsense. He protected me at all costs. May I stop right there? Presenting a united front is very important. And for the two of you who initially had this grand idea and vision to form a family, you are the people that matter at the end of the day, and you need to stick together no matter how much external people try and interfere. Always stick together, always speak with one voice. That for me, I think is very important. To date, they've never even spoken to me or even got a chance to do anything to me, but instead they've brought us closer without realizing it. Sadly, they've badly influenced our daughter, thus now she's decided to leave us and go stay with them. So that's lady 4 there sharing her story, and I hope someone there can learn something. And then we've got lady number 5. We came together as 2 families. I brought my own child, my husband brought his own child, and together we have 2 children. The challenge came in that the children that we brought into our marriage were being negatively influenced by my husband's side of the family. It was so bad that they turned my own son against me at some point. And in the end, I realized that there were people who were pretending to love my son and yet they didn't. Today, I'm glad that my son has realized their mistakes, and he's even telling me some of the bad things that they used to say about me behind my back. My son is finishing off high school now and is a changed young man who is focused on his studies. She has a son that she brought into the marriage, and the husband also has a son that he brought into the marriage. So the 2 boys are the ones that she says were being badly influenced. Those are the struggles that other women face. Lady number 6 actually didn't send a WhatsApp, but she sent a voice note. Lady number 6 has a very big family, and she brought in 1 child from her previous relationship, and the husband brought in 2 children from another relationship, and together they have 2 children. One of the biggest challenges that she pointed out was that for some reason, the husband did not understand the concept of speaking with one voice. The children would manipulate him and actually want to speak to him in private if they have issues with her, and if she's either disciplined them or asked them to do house chores, they would not like that. And she even explained that it got to a point where her mother-in-law, who doesn't even stay in the same province with them, would get to know each and every detail of what's happening in their home as the kids were starting to tell the other side of the family of what was going on at home. And these were normally exaggerated things. It would be issues of her trying to discipline them and issues of her trying to get them to do household chores. And she did explain to me that she does not really separate when she is disciplining kids. She will not look at them being not her kids, disciplines them all as her children. This behavior actually started showing itself when they became teenagers. And she says it has been a rough ride, to a point that at times she would hear things that happen in her own home being talked about by extended family, be they kids or adults, and obviously she's always painted as the wrong person, as the evil person. So these are the challenges that Lady 6 shared with us. Shout out to you, Lady 6. Thank you for sharing your experience. And then last but not least, we have Lady 7. Lady 7 also didn't write something down, but she actually sent me a voice note. So shout out to you, Lady 7. Her challenge is that she's living with her husband's older kids from a previous marriage. So these are adult children. One of them has even married and lives with them in their home. So this is a blended family which has extended further than just the child, but also she has now lives with a daughter-in-law and one child. So she was just simply saying that it has become so difficult to navigate in her home. Relating with the daughter-in-law is a bit of a challenge. It can be tricky, and just it has become two families coexisting, the family of their adult child and their own family. She was even saying at some point she even delays going to her house because she's no longer enjoying her space. And that is the struggle that Lady number 7 is facing. But she says she believes they should be actually on their way out soon, as the son has eventually landed himself a job, but they're just trying to fix themselves in terms of finances so that when they move out, they are financially sound. So it's something that she has enjoyed, but she says it's been quite a struggle trying to navigate, having a daughter-in-law in the home and an entire family, an entire adult child with an entire family living under the same roof as the parents. She says that it has not been easy. And to all those blended families, those parents and blended families, you are doing a good job. Whatever challenges you come across, just know that you're not alone in this. There are many other families that have such situations, and there is a reason why God entrusted you with such a setup. Don't give up, do your best, and you leave the rest to God. Doesn't matter what other people say, you know deep down in your heart that you are doing the best. As I mentioned earlier, nobody wants discord in their family. Why would you go out of your way to actually cause it? Well, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Do remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, keep inspiring and God bless you.